I don't know, I feel like some things are just your destiny. In my case, I feel like I feel like sometimes as if I'm remembering something which was in my soul before I was getting here, and it is with the art, so I always felt I couldn't let that thing go, you know? I couldn't get a regular job or do that. Like, I tried all those things in my 20s, but I was like, no, that doesn't feel true to me. So I had this gut instinct in me, and I was like, I was born a painter. And the decision was made a long time ago. I just started to remember. My name is Kara Su. I was born and raised in Berlin, and I have Kurdish backgrounds, and I'm a painter. Honestly, like when I look back to my childhood, I always felt like it is my medium, but I didn't have completely the awareness of it as I'm having now. Like, I just felt like back then it always brought me joy, and I was feeling free doing that. Now that I got older, my conscience is way bigger, that I feel like it is my way of expressing myself, and if I don't do it, I'm not really happy. It's kind of playground for me, and through the years I had this realization that I don't see anything else to do in my life except of that. Yeah. I had like normal art school lessons in primary school, so there I had the feeling of, hey, this is cool and I like it, but I never thought about myself becoming a painter. It came way later. Like, I've been to Australia for 2 years, and I did it for myself. Like, I found like wooden pieces or whatsoever, and I started painting, and then I got like a lot of backlash on that it's cool and people wanted to buy it. And back then I was a bartender and a waitress, so I was like, why doing this if I have more fun in doing painting, and I could make more money than that. So it was, I would say, like with 19, I kind of started realizing that it's way cooler for me to do that, or I had more fun doing that instead of other jobs. But it took a long road, like, to fully grasp it, yeah. I'm coming from a background where this art world was so far away. My mom was a single-raised mom, and I have 7 siblings, so I never really got into that world of going to galleries or shows or whatsoever. And I always felt like I don't fit in the norm based on my life. When I started painting, it was something there where I felt freedom, if it makes sense. And it was a hard road, especially for a place where I come from, to establish myself. Being a painter also means spending money for materials, having the time and the place to be free, and there was a lot of challenges actually. Like, before I started, and now I'm studying at UDK Berlin, it is a privilege for someone like me to be here and having this place and the comfort of basically being an artist and having the freedom to do so. I always made the decision many times, like, you have to make that decision, I'm going to be an artist no matter what. And I was even in my mind, like, even if I go broke, I don't care, as long as I'm able to do that. So I think every artist should always make the decision. You have to make a strong decision to be that and live that. And within time, things are getting easier, like the road is getting easier. I always dreamt about basically being free with it, also in financial means. Like, when I was younger, I had this romantic idea of being an artist and you don't care. But of course, you have to think rational about it too. Like, if you don't come from a lot of money, you have to make some money for the living. There has to be this goal of, you are able to be free, you need to generate some money. So it's a fucked up thing. I wish it wasn't that way, but my goal is that I can live with it for the long term and participating in the greatest galleries you can. Like, my goal is really high. I want to be at MoMA, Gauguin, stuff like this. I want to be able to go back to New York. I want to be the greatest artist I can be, I guess, and live that life for as long as I breathe, and have a big ass studio. I want it all. I want it all. Yeah. I like to keep the work open to the one who's viewing it. I like to play with open narratives, and I think my aim is it. When I was in New York, my one professor told me, he's like, your art has become an extension of your soul. So I like to keep it real to myself, who I am and how I feel, but still keeping it open, like an unfinished thought, so everybody who looks at it can identify within it or not, or finish a thought which I started in it. I like to paint a collective of people or people by themselves. Right now it's really figurative and in a way also psychological. Like in terms of thoughts, I like to paint thoughts as an unfinished thought, if it makes sense. Yeah. I always felt like there is a sense for me, but I was really insecure, so I was looking for other people around me to get that confidence, or I was sharing my thoughts and my ideas, and other people don't have that imagination like I do. So when I started, because I needed that around me, I wasn't that strong, I didn't have that strong belief like I do now. I stopped asking other people kind of for permission to do what I do, or getting the claps to, yeah, you're on a good track, because other people don't feel the way you do and they don't have your limitations. I feel like I was slowed down a lot of times during my process because I was looking outside for confirmation, you know, and now if I look back, I hoped I was just like trusting my guts and my intuition to just follow my bliss, because I think in the end I knew better. And right now I don't do it, for example, like if other people don't get my message or my dream or whatsoever, I'm like, okay, you don't feel it. I know what I'm doing, and yeah, I think that would be, looking back, especially at the starting points, to trust my own vision and be behind it. But maybe it was a learning process, because now I'm like, no matter what other people are telling me, I'm so strong in my dream, living that dream, you know, and being behind it, no matter what other people think. I think that's really important. Being a woman in general, being a painter or getting in this artistic field, I feel like now things changed a lot for female artists in terms of being considered as also a good option instead of just male artists. Starting out being a little bit naive in everything I do, there was also a lot of men trying to take advantage of me being an artist. They're like, oh, you're young, and you know, we could help you if you exchange this or that, you know, in a sense of which is not professional. But I think it's in a lot of different niches of maybe for sure in acting and music and whatsoever, that you always have some people who think they're in a higher position and trying to take advantage of you as a person regarding the art, you know. But I mean, I think you have to stay strong and don't get into that world too much and distance yourself from people like that, because there are also other people who are not like that, and you have fair contracts and everything is normal. Yeah, and not sexual and shit, you know, so yeah. What I learned by myself is that I chose to be a painter prior to this university thing. But it was hard. You can have little exhibitions and sell stuff and whatsoever, but being here now at the school, I feel like you get everything offered to you on a silver platter. The access to art and to the museums and collectors or galleries, it's on a different kind of level. It's way easier, I would say, being here. Beginning with the studio you have, you know, when you're autodidact, it's hard, you know, especially when you don't come from a privileged background. So I feel like the university opened me a lot of doors with the space, with the time for it, with everything you see around yourself. You're like so surrounded by artists and the conversations, also with the professors. You're getting on a different kind of field than by yourself, which doesn't mean you have to do it, you know. You can also be a successful artist without a university. I don't feel like a university is necessary for you to become a great artist. It's up to you and the decision you make that you want to have that life. But it's easier. Yeah. I had it so many times in my life, especially seeing all my friends doing like normal jobs and normal educations where it's like a safe environment, you know, because you have to pay your rent, you have to get around, stuff like this. And being an artist, like sometimes you have good times and then you have bad times. And trying to make something happen within your soul. I think it's like you're swimming across the ocean of regular, normal people, not in a bad sense. I think everybody's making a decision of what they want to do in their lives, but if you choose to be self-dedicated and trusting your vision and stuff, you had a lot of hardships along the road. And I was down many times. Like when I came back from New York, I was so devastated because I felt like I'm going there and I'm making my dream happen, but coming back, I was like, fuck, I didn't make it. And even my people from the studio, they were like, Sue, don't give up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like getting a burnout because I was like, how many times do I have to try that? Finally, this door, what I feel like inside my soul is always there for me, is opening. But as I said, like the love, I think, for what I'm doing always got me back. If I don't do it, I don't feel good. So I was like, the decision, even though I was like 3 days or something sad or depressed or whatsoever, I started clicking and I was like, I just need to paint and trust in my way, I guess, yeah. And it was a good decision. Recently, I actually watched a documentary about David Lynch and, no, it was an interview, David Lynch and being interviewed by Patti Smith. And they were talking about being a creative in general, a creative person. And David Lynch said something really nicely. He seemed like he found like a puzzle somewhere on the road. And he was like kind of sitting in a room, knowing that in the next room, he saw the bigger piece of the puzzle, even though he just found one little piece. And I feel like this within my art, I felt like there was something, I got the awareness and I keep remembering myself of who I am or who I want to be. Yeah. David Lynch is amazing, and Patti Smith too. Like, and also thinking about someone like Patti Smith, like her journey and stuff. You see other people also had that kind of feeling or they made that decision and they make it happen. So I think it's nice to have people like this to look up to and knowing that it's possible, but you really have to believe in what you do. I had this one professor who told me I should stay in teaching and not become a free artist. He's like, I don't think you're gonna make it and stuff. So that kind of stuck with me and I was like, thank you for that. I take it, I convert it into positive energy and I want it even more. So I would say, it's maybe a stupid example, but stuff like this kind of stuck into me a lot. And also, I think a more positive thing would be being surrounded with so many young artists is a cool thing. The exchange, the conversations. When you look around, it's all kind of artsy, so it makes something with your... I feel like I'm more proof to become an artist here than being by myself, even though it's stupid to say. But yeah, it makes something. And I'm grateful for all the beautiful people I met. And even some professors, I would say it's a cool thing. But as I said, it all just adapts to it. Either you want to have that life and you go for it, no matter what other people around you, like you don't need that environment to do so, yeah. I would say I started using oils when I started being here. I used to paint with acrylics just because I had no ideas and it was way cheaper, I felt like, prior to university. But then I had this shift. I wanted to also use better materials and stuff, and oil paintings are like sad. It's like the king thing to do. All the Renaissance artists and stuff used them. And when I started, I was like, what the fuck is this? When you come from acrylics, it's not the same. But you have to find your way within the medium, and oil paints are just, you're able to paint longer on them because they don't dry out that fast. And the quality of the paint and the particles in them, they shine even more. So I kind of like that, getting into that. But still, there are like ranges of prices of paints. And I would say I'm still using like medium-sized prices of oil paints. Yeah. Like I would like to use an oil tube for like $100, but right now it's not in my budget. And I feel like it's up to your art if it's, you don't need to have expensive shit to make beautiful art. Yeah. Like, I know that in New York there is Blick, which is so expensive. Right here we have like Bösner, it's kind of the same like Blick. So I got, as a present of a friend to my birthday, this nice brushes from there, but honestly, I buy a lot from Amazon, who are like packed in like 10 or something, and they also just cost around $10. So I'm really happy with them. And I like this synthetic things, because with that you're able to do smooth shit with oils, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I would say I go with cheap materials right now. My brushes are like 10 packs from Amazon. Like, yeah, they're cool. They fit what I want to do right now. And with oils, I'm also like a little bit a messy painter. Sometimes I leave them in turpentine, just because I'm too lazy to clean them all off. And after a while, they get fucked up and not usable anymore. So it's, when you have expensive brushes, you don't like to throw them away. But with this one, I'm like, oh, after 3 months of painting, I'm fine. Like, I still got more because they weren't that expensive, yeah. I always have my motives, like I do my sketches prior to coming to a painting. Right now, as I said before, I like to paint either single people or like a collective of people who are like in a room or something, or outside. And basically, usually I have the sketch, and I start with the sketch. I do the underpainting first, then I do the sketch. And then after that, everything is pretty free. Like, I look what kind of colors I have. I have a thought, like an impulsive thought, and I just follow it. When I started, I was like so scared to just follow it. You know, sometimes I was like, no, I can't do it now, blah, blah, blah. And now I feel like whatever I feel like, I just go within it and start painting. So the sketch prior is fixed, but after that, it's completely in the moment and following my bliss, I guess. I can also, like, I got here the sketches, like this is this piece right there. It's sold already, which is dope. And then I got this sketch from the little one there, which I want to call Living a Powerful Dream. And then I still got like a lot of sketches from New York. I like shout out to my professor, my anatomy professor, Stephen Gaffney. He was amazing. And these were like all nude lessons, sketches. Yeah, he was an amazing teacher. Because he was saying like, be free in what you do. Like, there is a lot of sketching books where you have like this whole mathematic thing about, oh, the circle of the head, and then the distance is like that much of the eye, and blah, blah, blah. And he said like, that's all, to be clear and simple, bullshit. He's like, look at the Renaissance painters or whatsoever, look at their sketches, they were just free. They didn't do all this mathematic thing. They were just like trying to capturing it and being in a flow, instead of doing, I need this distance to the shoulders or that. And I really liked that when he taught us that. Yeah. This actually started with UDK. Like, I would say my main inspiration is life itself. Like, my mind is just like collecting things, sceneries, whatsoever, people I met within that. But since I study, and since I was in New York, basically, we had like once a week this conversation with a lot of artists and professors, and they looked at your work and they suggested artists you should look up to, or that could be interesting. So since then, I started to collect books of people I really like. And basically, I just go, like, she's an amazing artist. You go around and you look at things, and you're basically kind of adapting things you like, or in my mind, it's like I'm saving up those things. And I think it's cool. And even now, some people say like, oh, you have something of the expressionist artist. So I look at it and, oh, yeah, it makes sense. And I look what I like about it. And then sometimes I try to adapt, but mostly I'm really free in what I'm doing. It's just the cherry on top to be able to look at those things and get inspired. Yeah. Francis Bacon is also a dope artist. Like when I was painting, like now some people bought some stuff of me and they come and they look what I do and they're like, this face looks like a little bit, you adapted something from Francis Bacon. This is like Ernst Ludwig Kirchner. This is maybe that. And I'm like, oh, really? And then I look them up and I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I think it's okay to do that as long as you do your own thing within it, or you like a painter a lot and you adapt him, but you should be focused on doing your own within it. Just to copy is a little bit boring. But there's like a quote, all great artists steal. And I think that's legit to do that, yeah. I also have one here because my melancholy about New York. I painted like one piece. It's called Lumbago. It's a really nice jazz piece. But it's about my time in New York. Oh, I have to be a little bit careful here. Or I tried to paint the scenery of it. Because when I was in New York, I went to a lot of jazz places. Because I would say my painting style is also like influenced a lot by jazz, by this impulsive, being in the moment, you know, doing sketches, layers, blah, 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 which don't really make sense, but when you have the whole harmony, it's amazing, like jazz music itself. And that is like my homage on my time for New York, that I'm coming back with the city skylines. I don't know, yeah. I feel like I have to stretch those things. Like painting bigger is like I like to stretch my own because firstly it's cheaper. Secondly, it's more fun to like do the base and stuff. You have a different kind of feeling when you did everything by yourself. Like get the wooden pieces together, like the stretchers, then stretch it. And painting big is amazing because you have more freedom. You know, I'm like this brush person. I like to have like this movement within what I'm doing. I even want to go bigger, but I don't know if the studio allows me to go that big. But I also like to do little pieces. Like little pieces are so much quicker to finish, while this ones take more time and more love. Like it depends, but you have more movement in it with bigger pieces, which is kind of cool. And stretching them yourself is way cheaper. Yeah. I like to manifest shit with my art or with the titles I give, because I believe in the spirit of believing in something good. Your thoughts kind of shape your reality. And here, for example, I put like in one way for me to know that, hey, there is this way for me and it's just ahead of me, as long as I believe in it. So yeah, this was after New York, because I need to go back. I sold nearly all of them, but I still have one key piece. Yeah, this one in New York, honestly, I started I never did it in my painting thing, but I started a lot of self-portraits in a little changed version, so it's not obvious directly that it's me. But that was good for my self-reflection to see who I am and what I want to do. This, for example, is still from New York. Or this one here. And my heart element, I would say this one. This is not for sale. And the rest, like I painted a lot of paintings actually when I was in New York, but a lot of them, I'm really grateful since the open days here at UDK. I sold so many pieces from there, and I was like, should I give them away or not? But then knowing that the money is like giving you comfort to buy new colors and stuff, I was like, it is along the way, but yeah, this one is different. I still have to stretch it, because when I was in New York, I did my own frames. I was learning with Larry B. Wright, and he was an assistant of Robert Rauschenberg for a long time, and they were also really close friends. And he's like this during the time of pop art and silk screen, so they always did their own frames, the wooden frames, and he taught me how to do that. So this size, for example, you can't buy it from the art shop because I just looked what kind of sizes I have and I cut them myself. So I bought some things, but I have to like adjust them for this kind of piece, yeah. When I was finished, like I was sad for all the wooden things I did, like the stretches. I wanted to take them with me too, but it wasn't possible. So what I did is like, I did around 30 pieces when I was there. So I de-stretched them and put them all in this roll. It was like a thick roll in the end. And then I put a lot of bubble wrap around it. And flying back, I booked luggage as a sport bag. So this is how I got them back. And when I was at the airport, I was like, dude, you can't lose that one. Please be sure that it's entering, because there were around 30 paintings I got with me. I don't know, you just feel it. I don't know. I feel like there's something, like sometimes I don't have it and I paint and I'm like, fuck, I should have listened to my intuition and stuff. And sometimes I just like do something and I'm like, it's done. I can't describe it. It's just a thing within that tells you. I don't know, I watched once an interview of some painter also being asked that question. I don't remember who it was, but he said like, it's the same with sex, you know, when it's finished. When it's finished, it's finished. You're done, you know what I mean? And it's the same with painting. I just feel like, it became what I kind of wanted or not, but I'm happy with the output, or I feel like I put enough emotions in it, so there's no necessity to do more. Yeah. This was also from New York, so the time in New York. And I like to give like funny titles to it sometimes, because I would say I'm hilarious. Just kidding. And I like my paintings to be, you know, have something positive within them and something cute. Yeah. So yeah, this is called I Like Your Polo Shirt. It's funny, you know. I think the colors I choose, and even after all this hardship of life, I try to remain positive and have a nice output. Make people think. I feel really privileged to be able to do so with painting, and show the love I have for it, I think, yeah. Before I went to New York, like I always painted kind of figurative things. Like prior to university, I started painting Jimi Hendrix, Leon the Professional, things I liked from the aesthetics. And then I came to this university and I was like, fuck, who am I and what I really want to say within my art? So I questioned myself. I once had a car crash when I was like, car accident when I was 5. So I was like, I would like to paint those cars. I think I saw when I was 5 years old before I had this crash and had a bad accident. So I started doing that. Then I was like, then the thing with Palestine and Israel was starting. Then I started doing a lot of charcoal series about the war and that it's fucked up and we shouldn't be allowing it to happen. Then that was really sad. I started doing smiley faces. And after that, I started doing my identity. So it was a search of who am I? And prior to New York, I did a lot of paintings of my culture, being a Kurdish woman, having that roots. And this is the way I got to New York. So this was kind of what I was painting. But being in New York then, like I figured that it was necessary to paint that to come closer to my essence. But the paintings I did, I really wanted to tell the narrative of being a Kurdish woman. And I felt like I'm lying to myself. I don't have the awareness of having that life in Kurdistan or whatsoever to be able to paint that. Because I was like, right now I'm in New York, I traveled so much, I have a different aesthetic, it's not true to myself. And then I started doing this self-portrait with a lot of myself to figure out who am I actually. And that was kind of opening a room for me to get closer to my essence. I did a lot of collaged work prior. I felt like, this is not really, I don't have a lot of fun in it, but I felt like I have to do it. And then I switched. I was like, no, I like to paint. I have this kind of deeper thoughts within it. And it's okay to portray what I feel like is cool or what I like the sense of for the moment, you know, and that opened up this kind of world of me, I guess. Yeah, it feels more authentic. For now, like I still, like later in my life, I want to do political art and whatsoever, but right now I feel like I love the aesthetics, I love the narrative about it, I like that it's positive and everything. It's something I feel like it's the right track, and now seeing all it's crazy, like you start having this idea of becoming an artist and whatsoever once you really make the decision, and then all of a sudden reality adapts, which is crazy. And this happened through this series. But I'm like chameleon, you know. I have way too many thoughts to just stick around with one thing, but this right now feels good and true, and I love doing it. Like I don't feel like I'm finished yet with this kind of paintings, if it makes sense. Yeah. But I like to change a little bit. Like the heads are all mine, but I try to change a little. Like some of my friends said, just this looks like me. Once my sister came and she's like, bro, it's all you. And I'm like, yeah, she knows me a lot, you know. But that was really the hard part of this series. And then once I discovered that, I was so excited because I felt like it's the right thing to do. And then I painted so many more. Like there were I had really cool international students being in New York at the same time. And at one point they didn't ask me out anymore because they knew I'm just sticking in my studio and painting. Yeah, I was just excited finding that world because I felt like this is the piece that I was looking for. And then all the other things came into existence. It's crazy, but it's beautiful. It's a cool thing. Like I said, like I did self-portraits in New York a lot, but then I also drifted. And I was like, I don't just want to paint myself. I like to open it up to a lot of people that they can identify something within it or feel something where it's not that obvious that it's just me, you know. So I painted guys in polo shirts. Like I like the style of the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you name it. And transcribe it to our nowadays because I feel like it's timeless. And this is like what I like to do. So yeah, this one still has to be stretched when the time is ready. Just kidding. I like it more when it's stretched. I don't know why. I just feel like it feels better to me. I don't know. But I see myself traveling more and doing residencies, so maybe I don't buy always the stretches for it. But it gives a different kind of feeling when it's stretched to me personally. And it's so easy to do the stretching. Once you learn it once, you can watch a lot of YouTube tutorials. Like I didn't learn it in university, apparently. I learned it by just trying it out. Same with oil paintings. Like we have some courses here, but I was always that person who just want to try it out and learn within the mistakes. And then sometimes I watched YouTube tutorials. Yeah. There was this thrill of just trying to, I like to play, you know, when other people are around me and always say like, you can't do this and you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. I feel like my freedom is stolen and I don't like to do that. I had a friend here, he was like, Sue, your paintings could be so much better if you follow the rules. And I'm like, I don't want to follow that, you know. I just like to be a fucking child and feel what I do. And then when I see like, it's not working, I messed up, and then I try it again, and then it gets better, you know? Yeah. I like to do diptychons right now. I did them a lot, like to break off the canvas, and I looked up to David Hockney. He loved to do a lot of them. So at one point I'm dreaming about in my studio to do this kind of thing, but like in 50 ways. So it's like never ending and the people are like walking or something. I think that's really, really cool. And again, like this title is unexpected, expected, and I try to manifest my life in it. It's like with the titles, or when I paint, I see something and I feel it, like my dreams becoming reality and stuff. So I can give this as an input for other artists to really believe in yourself and don't let you talk yourself down by other people who don't understand what you're doing. I think that's really important. But you gain the self-confidence within the road, you know. I felt like for me things were just like working, and you saw like it's happening and they have to happen, and then you get the self-confidence within it that it's right for you. And other people can't feel it because they don't experience that. Trust your fucking guts. Yeah. I never actually painted smaller pieces, but once I was in New York, I was like, okay, I can't just like paint big pieces because I didn't know how to get them all home. And I started doing little ones, and then I've really found joy in it. Like right now, mostly I do like, before I start a big painting, I do like a lot of smaller ones and try to learn something new. And once I like those things, I transcribe them into bigger ones. Not always, but sometimes it happens. And this one I really like. This piece, for example, I did the sketch on it. And it was just a sketch on it. And then it stayed for a month, like just on the wall. And while painting other things in my mind, I finished the painting already. It doesn't always happen. But then after a month, I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then the actual painting of this was like a half an hour. Like it was really quick just because I observed it for so long and the process was there. Like I said, it doesn't always happen, but sometimes I just look at things and after time, I'm like, oh, this. And then I'm so sure about that decision, I just go for it. And then it can come out good or bad. And both is okay, you know, yeah. Yeah, the little ones are fun because they're quick. Usually you stay in the studio. You can change to another class, but I kind of really like the studio. But for me personally, like I eager next year to have my own studio, just because I feel like I need more space. Like I said, now a lot of paintings are sold, God thanks, but I wouldn't know where to keep them, and I like to paint bigger and more pieces at once. I feel like I need more space, and I'm kind of working towards that, having my own studio, even though the studio is beautiful, and I'm going to use it as long as I need it, like for the next 2 years, but I would like to paint like 10 of those big paintings at once, you know? So I don't know how it's going to happen, but as soon as you, like as long as you believe, I think, and work towards that, dreams are reality's piece. I don't know. I trust the universe, I guess. Yeah, but I love hip-hop. I love Kendrick Lamar is the next level. Like, I listened so much to his music while painting because I feel like he's, for the ones who are capable to understand what he's saying, he's putting out wisdom and uplifting his community, especially with his music, but also like for people who understand something. And he's also like Patti Smith or David Lynch in a musical way, you know? He's making poetry and talking about real life shit. So, and about dreams, that dreams, for example, are reality's piece or guiding people through it, you know. If you want to understand, he's not your savior, but he's putting out words in hip-hop kind of sense, you know. I love hip-hop, the sass, the style, the attitude, you know, they're like street poets. And then they have so much swag and they're so fresh. Like I also like, I know Kanye West is controversial, but I think he's a dope musician. For me, I started painting because of life, you know, and music is has a big role in it. And then all the relationships you have, your family, everything you see in life is inspiration, you know.